right. Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome to our brief and, for us, very exciting introduction to Living Resilience 2018. This is Dean Walker, and in just a moment, Carolyn Baker's smiling face will be up on the screen. And Carolyn and I are here to talk about and introduce what for us has been a while in coming, and really exciting and really timely offering of a series of online and live offerings in 2018 to bolster all of our inner toolkits and expand our capacities to basically face the predicament-laden world we've got heading at us at 1,000 miles an hour. So let me have your face show up there. There's Carolyn.
Hi, Dean. I am so excited about this. This is an endeavor that we've been actually working at for a couple of years. We might even be going into 3 years now. I'm not sure. Just conjuring and talking about and dreaming and doing different events. And it's just continued to snowball and grow, and we're getting a lot of help from the external world, obviously, in in taking us to deeper places within ourselves. A lot of them that we don't want to go to, but events in the world are compelling us to go to these deeper places, these places of grief and anger and fear that we thought we already had touched, but now we're being compelled to go more deeply into those. But we're going to need tools and practices to help us do that. And that's called becoming resilient. And, resilience, as we all know, or I hope we all know, is not about bouncing back. There is no bouncing back. It's about a transformational process that happens as we open to, with tools, with support, as we open to these crazy events. And as I like to say, we are creating islands of sanity in a sea of chaos.
Yeah. Carolyn, it seems like one of the consistent themes that I think really you brought from the many books that you've written in the past 10 years or more is that what happened to get us here is to this place where we're knee deep in predicaments, is that we've disconnected. We've disconnected from our deeper selves, from each other, and from the earth. And what I'm particularly excited about is that this kickoff, this summit, this series of online gatherings that we're doing in February is designed to be an expression of thought leaders, journalists, activists who are on the same page with your books, and certainly with my book as well, The Impossible Conversation, which is we've got to get ourselves reconnected. Whether we are the kind of folks that are seeing something happening in 2100 in some vague, faraway 2100, or we see the things that are going on right now and are deeply concerned about it, it seems like no matter what our timing is that we project or imagine, that the only task that will really bolster us in any significant way is the installation of practices that reconnect us with our deeper self, with each other, and with the earth. And we have got an incredible group of guest presenters for that summit. I was wondering if you could start us off by describing a bit about one of our first speakers, which is going to be Becca Martinson.
Yeah, Becca is a therapist and a life coach, and she's been married for several years to Chris Martinson, who has the Peak Prosperity website that many people are familiar with. But Becca's been a real trooper in her own right. She was on the board of a school in Vermont that, completely established kids as being outside most of the time for their education in elementary and high school. So Becca is one of the most qualified people to be talking about connection with ourselves, with each other, and with Earth. And we've had her in our summits before. She always brings incredible dynamism, incredible warmth, incredible inspiration. And I'm really excited that she's going to be one of our first speakers.
Yeah, me too. I literally can't think of a better exemplar of someone who has a foot in two worlds. And ironically, that's what we're naming this summit in February, is having a foot in two worlds. And so I really look forward to her starting us out. I'd also like to mention about Philip Shepard, who is now an author of some renown. He's just released his second book recently. And what I'm tremendously excited about is that he's willing to join us for not one, but two sessions of the symposium or the summit in February. And his gift is to be able to draw our attention out of our head, which is, we're obviously in this screen-related world where we just have less and less connection with Earth and with our deeper selves and with each other. He's able to draw our attention down to what I might call other or alternative organs of perception. Particularly, he takes us down to pelvic bowl, the base of our body, mm-hmm. and orient ourselves in a tremendously empowering way to be able to give us an embodied sense of what it is to return to a sense of agency, a sense of being able to be so present in our life that we actually can return to making a difference, which I think is what most of us are stripped of that, have been stripped of that for most of our lives. So we're tremendously excited to have Philip Shepard on and to be bringing his unique exercises and distinctions. Those will be, again, two sessions of that.
Yeah, he's quite amazing. I've been in one of his workshops, as you have, and boy, I don't know anyone who can take us so clearly and quickly into the depths of our bodies. And why is that important? Well, because it allows us to be present. And if we're not present to what's going on, and we're just floating around in the cerebrosphere, we cannot be resilient. We've got to have that body presence in order to be resilient.
We've got a number of other guest speakers, and I don't know if we have enough time in this particular video to name them all, but one I would like to squeeze in here no matter what is, I'm particularly excited to have Dar Jamail back and speaking with us. He's been in earlier summits and symposia that we've created, and he's very close to releasing his newest book, his book about, I believe it's called The Loss of Ice. Gosh darn it, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But he's an extraordinary journalist.
And climate writer, by the way.
And he's been writing about anthropogenic climate disruption or abrupt climate change for years now, and really pierces that conversation like no one else in mainstream media, that to be sure. And he is also an avid mountaineer and has been going around the world to research his book. So in terms of reconnecting ourselves with the earth, and also to provide for us some tools for how to find truth in a post-truth world, I think Dar will give us tremendous guidance in both of those arenas. So I'm afraid our time is running out for this brief video. We'll have more videos coming out. What we want to do is invite you all to come just be a part of this symposium. And what it's going to be is going to be Monday and Thursday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. at Pacific time, Pacific West Coast time. And all of these sessions will be recorded. So if you couldn't make it on a night or any of the nights, they'll all be recorded. You will have access to them for at least 6 months after the sessions.
And we begin on February 2nd, correct? And we run through March 1st with this series.
Exactly. And what we're trying to do is expand the expand the tribe, expand the amount of people who are aware of this level of conversation, and give you as much of a leg up in this as possible, meaning most of us find it difficult to have these conversations with other people, to include even people that we're close with, our own family members and friends. The average person does not speak about this kind of stuff much. So what we'd like to do is make it as easy as we can for you. We've priced this symposium, this summit, in such a way that hopefully there'll be some enticement for you to include some folks. Go out and have some conversations to invite them. And so what we're doing is pricing this as a ticket for one person to be a part of an all-access pass to this summit will be $75. For two people, the ticket will cost $120 or $60 a piece. A ticket for four people will cost $100 or $25 a piece. I think you get the picture. We're doing what we can to make this as accessible as possible to as many as possible. And if you find yourself still unable to reach the amounts we're talking about, we're going to also, we'll have on the screen while I'm talking right now, you'll see my email address, safecircle@gmail.com. You just need to get in touch with us. The idea is we want folks to participate. We want you to have access to this extraordinarily important, safe conversation, for a conversation that is not inherently safe in our world. So you've got the dates. They're on the screen as well. You've got my email address. If you have any questions at all, feel free to be in touch.
And my email address as well, clinic@carolynbaker.net.
Very good. We'll be sure to put that up there.
Please do.
And we will be doing more of these videos to introduce, and they'll be on our websites and on Facebook and so on. It's really our feeling that this is a time like no other. And we said the same thing 2 years ago and 3 years ago when we did other summits. But Carolyn, perhaps you'd like to wrap up this video by saying what you feel the calling of these times are and how it got different in 2017.
Well, I'm tracking it quite closely. As many of you know, I produce a daily news digest and have for going on 11 years now. And we're really in a time of trauma, accelerated trauma like we have not seen in this collapse process before. 2017 was kind of the kickoff of that more intense level of trauma. We're seeing lots of news stories where people are talking about being traumatized and being disoriented with the chaos that's going on in the world and this administration in Washington, and the fear that people are living with. And so for those of us who are aware of the collapse of systems and aware of abrupt climate change, we have got to have tools, we've got to have strategies for moving through this, not just to survive. This isn't about just surviving. This is about becoming resilient. How could we actually thrive emotionally and spiritually on every level as we move through this rite of passage for our planet?
Wow. Thank you so much for that summary. It just went right to the heart of it. Look, we really want to see you on the screen. I want you to join us in this cyber brief community, this temporary community that we'll put together in February. And perhaps the last thing we could mention here is we also have a Safe Circle call that we invite everyone to be on. It's free of charge, and it's on the first, third, and fifth Thursdays of every month. Tuesdays of every month.
Yeah.
And it's also at 6 o'clock Pacific time for 1 hour. And we will also have that information up on the screen here so that you can read that right now. And
I'd just like to say that, we're I want to really emphasize that we are launching a whole new body of work. So we're not just going to do this summit and then like you go your separate way and you may never see these people again. We're structuring it so that there will be ongoing events, ongoing videos, ongoing live classes, ongoing opportunities to participate in all of this. Coaching is available from both of us. There's all kinds of resources that we are streamlining for you in 2018 and just building and building and building so that it's not just a one-hit wonder, as they say.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And so we look forward to, if you have any questions, please contact us. Otherwise, gather 3 of your favorite friends and sign up for that summit. And we look forward to seeing you on the screen with us. And let's have the best year ever in the face of a predicament-laden 2018. Carolyn, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dean. Looking forward to seeing all of you online.